Children in the diversity visa lottery application. When you are filling the form for green card lottery, there is a component where you are supposed to answer the number of children. Don't tell me that I forgot to put the children. There is no forgetting anything, because you cannot continue until you put the number of how many children do you have. So if you put 0, it means you don't have a child. If your spouse or if your baby mama is pregnant, you are still have 0. That is not born child. You cannot have a photo of that child. So, first of all, who are considered as children in the DV lottery application? First of all, the age of those children, marital status of those children, and the relationship to you. Yes, they are children. So children can be biological children, that's number 1. Can be stepchildren if you are legally married to a person and that person has children, you become a stepmother or a stepfather. Those children are part of the application. And also the adopted children. Adoption must be legal adoption. You go to the court, you have court documentation to prove that you are adopted, you have adopted that child. If you don't have court documentation, you decide to pay school fees for a child, maybe your relative maybe died and you are helping that child, is not your child. No matter since when, maybe since was born, you support that person, is not your child. It's supposed to be biological, stepchild, or adopted. That's number 1, the relationship to you. Number 2, the age. Those children must be under the age of 21. If you put a child and he's 21 years old, the form will not continue. It will tell you there is an error. And they will tell you the person is above the age. So the age is on the day of application. Even if someone is 20 years old and 364 days old, the person is still 20 years old, is not 21. So the person will be allowed to apply. You are allowed to add as your child. And if that person is married, is not supposed to come. You are not supposed to add that person. So the person is supposed to be unmarried, under the age of 21, your biological child, stepchild, or adopted child by legal. Those are the qualifications of who is a child to be included. You might have a question. What if that child is 20 years old? The day the results are out, the child is 21 years old. Or I applied today, October, and in November or in December, the child becomes 21. What happens? You'll continue to process the child as normal to put the correct age. The Department of State or the US government will treat that child as 20 years old because on the day of application, the child was 20 years old, so you'll be able to process. If you lie about the children, you say you don't have a child, and you come to add a child, unless otherwise that child was born after applying. But if you had a child born, even if he's 1 day old, and you say you don't have, you add that child, you will be denied the visa. So to include a child who is not yours, or failure to include a child, or lying about the child, you will be denied the visa. There is someone who filled the visa form, the DV lottery form, and didn't know that you are supposed to add the stepchild, and came to know that after winning, they added the stepchild, they were denied the visa. There is another person, put a child, assuming that this is my adopted child because his father died, so I've been living with this one, was denied because the person didn't have the court documentation. So make sure that you have that one. And there is a problem of people, maybe their children, they go to boarding school, they live far away, only different city. In that case, some people, they say, oh, I don't have the photo of my child, so let me just apply as 0 child and I will add it later. There is no add it later. So it doesn't matter whether the child lives with their mother and you are not, whatever, and there is no that, oh, this child, but I'm not married. Whether you are married, whether you're not married, the question is, do you have children? They didn't say, are you married with the children? No, the question, do you have children? Whether the children, they live with you or they don't live with you. Whether they live with their grandparents, whether they board in school. It doesn't matter. If they are your children, you must include them. Failure to include them, you will come to regret, higher possibility of being denied the visa, and to be finito, you will be finished completely.